Birds. Whoa.
This is a true story of an air disaster. An airplane carrying 155 passengers encountered a flock of birds during its flight, causing both engines to instantly fail and the plane to experience severe turbulence, completely losing power. At this point, the passengers in the cabin were still unaware of what had happened. The flight attendant stood up to reassure the passengers that they had only encountered air currents and reminded them to fasten their seatbelts. Captain Sully attempted to restart the engines but failed. Suddenly, the power inside the cockpit went out, plunging the passengers into darkness and panic. Sully quickly turned on the auxiliary system, restoring normalcy to the cabin. The co-pilot hastily pulled out the quick reference handbook, searching for emergency procedures for engine failure. At the same time, Sully urgently called the ground control tower to request help. Upon receiving the message, the tower immediately ordered all planes to stop flying and cleared the runway to assist Flight 1549 in returning to the airport. However, Sully realized that they no longer had time. The plane's altitude was too low. At their current glide speed and altitude, they could not safely land at the airport. Sully and his crew decided to make an emergency landing on the Hudson River. The control tower kept calling Sully, informing him that Newark Airport was available for an emergency landing at their 2 o'clock position, 7 miles away. But as soon as they finished speaking, the plane disappeared from the radar. Sully picked up the internal phone and told the passengers to prepare for an emergency impact. All the passengers panicked. The flight attendants shouted for everyone to assume the brace position. Some began taking out their phones to send final messages. Those with children held them tightly. Sully remained calm and composed, gradually adjusting the plane's angle. He knew that the success rate of a water landing was less than 1%. If the nose or wings entered the water first, the powerful impact would cause the plane to disintegrate. He had to ensure the plane landed on the water in a stable manner. Only then would there be a possibility of a successful emergency landing. The plane slammed into the water surface, causing the fuselage to shake violently. Sully strove to maintain the plane's balance. After gliding on the water for some time, the plane finally came to a stop on the surface. Sully quickly left the cockpit and reminded the passengers to put on their life jackets and prepare to evacuate. Cold river water kept pouring in. The flight attendants hurriedly opened the emergency exits. As the escape slides deployed, the passengers evacuated in an orderly manner. Some passengers also climbed out of the emergency windows onto the wings. The Coast Guard, which was on patrol, spotted them and immediately issued an emergency call for assistance, rushing over to carry out the rescue at top speed. Soon after, helicopters and sea rescue teams all arrived, rescuing the passengers who had fallen into the water one by one. Sully, disregarding the danger, went deep inside the cabin to repeatedly check if all the passengers had been evacuated. After confirming that no one was left behind, he returned to the cockpit, grabbed important records, and was the last one to jump onto the escape slide. With support from various parties, the rescue operation was quickly completed. However, Sully, who had made it ashore, was deeply troubled. He was anxious to know if all 155 people on the plane had been saved. But the rescued passengers were scattered among various rescue teams, and no one could give him an answer. Sully went to the hospital for a checkup. At this point, someone from the Union brought him good news. All 155 passengers on Flight 1549 had been rescued. Only then did Sully feel relieved. From the moment the bird strike occurred to the safe water landing, only 208 seconds had passed. Moreover, all 155 people on the plane survived. Sully instantly became a hero.